Okay, so Naomi's going to start us off. She's our silver leader. She's the leader here, and she has so much good stuff to say about enrolling. She's always set such a good example for me and for the rest of us in enrolling. And yeah, so she's going to start us off with some of the questions. So, yay!
Hi, hello. All right. I am going to go through some of your questions. Like Elise said, they've been divvied up tonight just so we can give you a good range of whatever. We all do things a little bit differently. So I'm going to talk about my personal experience with enrolling and what I figured out works and doesn't work along the way and that sort of thing. So to start off, and we're going to try and keep it really short and sharp tonight. We don't want it to each question to carry on for too long. So I'm going to try and just jam pack it with the info you need to know and keep it short. So the first question was, how often do you offer incentives? Actually, that was the short version of the question. How often do you offer incentives? So for me, the last couple of months, I always offer an incentive, or when Young Living's running their own special, I always jump on board with that and run with the momentum of a Young Living sale. So I will always jump in on that. As far as public incentives, if I will only offer an incentive publicly if I have a couple of prospects sitting on the fence and I want to get them across the line. So what I do is I advertise the special. I say there's only, like, I might be giving away like a special pack. It might have like one of Jess's macrame diffusers or $25 cash back. And I say it's for the next 2 people only. And I do that strategically when I know I've got a couple of prospects sitting on the line and I want to get them across, because then what I do is I then send that Instagram story directly to their inbox and say, hey, just wanted to let you know that I've just advertised this publicly. I know you've been thinking about getting oils for a while now, so I'd hate for you to miss out if you were keen to get started. And it really instills some, and I say to them, I'm only offering it up to the next 2 people. So you'll need to jump in quick. And it's really instilling some like FOMO into them to jump on that. So that's, if you see me running sales in my stories, generally that's why. It's very strategic and targeted at someone in particular, or a couple of people in particular that I've been talking with. Aside from that, I don't like to do it too much, especially on the starter kit. And I watched a great video that Courtney Kreitz did, and she's one of our ICD uplines, that talked about if you're offering sales all the time, it can start to really devalue the kit, and it can make it look salesy and a bit tacky. So I try not to do it too often. So when I do it, it is very strategic. I mean, because we want them to know that they're already getting a great deal with the kit. Like they're getting, and if you're educating and doing your 3 pillars properly, so educating on the kit and you should be educating them that the kit is already great value. So they should be excited to get that anyway. So then whatever else they're getting back from you is a complete and utter bonus. So when you've got so you also want to offer them when to get your prospects over the line when you're doing a rank push. So if you have, say you're going for executive, right? And you need that one of your legs is short, it needs to come up to 1,000 OGV. So you can run an incentive for that particular leg, those builders in that leg. It might be for them to like enroll people. It might be an incentive, whatever it might be. I've done a whole video on this in Botanica Business. You can go and search that if you're interested in more in incentives. But yeah, it might be when you're going for a rank, you need an OGV boost overall from your members. So yeah, watch that video in Botanica Business because I go into it in a heap more detail. But I would just say be very strategic with your incentives. Don't just be offering them like left, right and center, because it really does start to make it look a little bit salesy. And you really want to be strategic, because if you've got prospects that are like, oh, she runs sales all the time, like I'll just do it in like 6 months, like I'm sure she'll be running another one. You don't want them kind of thinking that. You want them to be like, oh, this is a really good one. She hasn't done this for a while, sort of thing. So that's that. The next question is, I struggle to explain how to use the website. Still so confusing to get people to wrap their head around. Any tips to simplify it? So Young Living has come a long way with their website. I will give them credit for that, but they still have a long way to go. I know on our last Silvers call, they were talking about this, and just so you guys know, the new president or whatever they call him of Young Living Australia, he is unreal. He's amazing. He's like grabbing it by the balls, basically, the whole website debacle that's been happening lately, and really like trying to make some changes. He's going straight to the US and demanding that they like put some changes into place. But as far as just like, I think the new system, it's had a few hiccups with like charging people's essential rewards order if they're joining it, sign up onto their premium starter kit. But as far as the actual step-by-step process, I do think it is an improvement on the last one. All I would say to you is don't get nervous when you're talking to your prospects about signing up. Don't tell them, oh, like if you get stuck here, or, you know, say to them, what I do is I just send them the how to sign up graphic, which is in Botanica Business. And I also send the email template that Naomi put in there a while ago, which runs them through what to do. I haven't had any issues yet, and it's been a couple of months. So I would just say, just be confident with it. Know that Young Living's working on it. And if there are any issues, I mean, Young Living are also, if you get on the phone the next day, they are actually really good at fixing up whatever's happened and talking people through it. So yeah, I would just say follow those steps, send the graphic, send the email, and you shouldn't have any issues. As far as just like navigating the website, I mean, that's just something members are going to have to just have a play around with. I think it's pretty simple, as long as you say to them, you know, go to my account or whatever it is. And if all they really need to look at, if they're not business builders, is my ER order or how to process a standard order, just do a quick vid for them, maybe a screen record vid, and send it to them. Next one was tips for overcoming feeling like I'm a salesperson. This one was pretty simple. Use your oils. Just simply you use your oils and your products, and be really intentional with using them daily. And it's so easy to share. I find the days, I mean, we all have days where we just get like head block or whatever, but sometimes the days where I'm like, oh, like, what am I going to talk about today? I'm like, actually, I haven't really used my oils much this morning. Like, I've obviously had a lazy morning and I just haven't really thought about it. So, I mean, always product user first, and then it's really authentic for you to share that with people. What else did I say? And if you don't love a product, don't talk about it. Just talk about the products that you love. So if there's something you don't like, just simply don't talk about it. And what else was I going to say? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just use your oils. I like to look at it. Something actually shifted for me when I watched one of Abigail Green's videos in Strategy 1000, and it was such a simple like mindset thing, but it shifted something for me. And she simply said, think about it like you're documenting your day. So instead of being like, oh, like what am I going to create today, or what, simply document what you're doing, and it makes it a lot simpler. So Instagram's like, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here, but Instagram's great because even if you like just take a quick photo of you like popping your lemon in your drink, like jazz it up with some gifs and some writing and stuff. Like, it doesn't need to be fancy, like better done than perfect. So just record your oily day through the day. Next question. One thing you would say is a massive oversight when it comes to enrolling. Sorry, skipping. One major oversight that I think happens a lot is people just don't talk about the premium starter kit enough. So I think we all get excited as business builders and like trying new products and stuff, and sometimes we tend to just go off and talk about the other products, which is totally fine, and that still needs to happen because we still have members that we want to inspire that are on essential rewards and that sort of thing. But that's what the product groups are really for. So I think like on your Instagram, because you want to show them there's more to than just diffusing the oils. You want to show them practical ways, like when they get that starter kit, how is it going to benefit their health and wellness instead of just making their house smell nice. So show them really practical, simple ways to use their oils. So it's going back to the whole 3 pillars thing. And if you haven't seen that video, I really recommend you going and watching it. It's in Botanica Business. Naomi and Yana, I think, did it a while ago. And it was amazing. Also getting stuck on stale prospects. So if you have prospects that have been stringing you along for like, it might only be a month, like, but you're just not feeling like you're not getting much from them. Maybe you've run an incentive and they didn't jump on it. Maybe they're like asking you for samples, but they're just not like, they're not actually like buying their own. Move on, like move on, keep expanding that prospect list and move on from that person. Don't get, it's really hard to not like get hung up on people that you've poured like a lot of time and energy into. But this business, you're going to get stuck and you're going to run out of prospects if you don't move on from those people, because I mean, I get them all the time. I know all the other girls get them. So that's that. And also another oversight is also just not being confident. Like, I think, like we know that oils are amazing. We know they can do so much for our health and our home, kicking the chemicals out. Like, be confident in that when you're talking to people. People can hear it in your language when you're talking to them. So I will go on to it. It's in one of the other questions. I will talk about like conscious language and that sort of thing. But be confident when you're talking to someone. Don't sound nervous. Don't sound nervous, because they will pick up on that. Yeah, they will pick up on that. Next one is, are you personally still frequently enrolling? So yeah, I consistently enroll about 2 to 3 people per month. Some months it's higher, but that's my average per month. So I am very conscious of being very consistent, like online on Instagram, and very intentional with my prospect list. So on my prospect list right now, I've probably got about 30 people. And when I come across a new Instagram, I'm like adding to that all the time. I'm crossing people off too. Like if I'm trying to interact with their stories and I'm not getting anything back, off you go. Like, ciao. I'm not wasting my time on you. I move on. So being very intentional with your prospect list. Oh, and here's what I just wanted to talk about. Like, I also use very conscious language. So I'm an Enneagram 8 red. Like, I feel like sometimes I tell people what to do, which is not my intention, but I know they need the kit, and I'm very confident in that. So I use very conscious language when I'm talking to a prospect. So if maybe I've added them to a class, or maybe they've asked me a question, or maybe they've, I don't know, saying like, what would you use on this, or whatever the conversation might be, I'm always like, when you get your kit, instead of if you get your kit, if you sign up, I'm like, when you sign up, I'm going to do this, or you'll get this, or whatever it might be. So just trying to think about what language you're using can be super powerful to the person receiving it. People like to be told what to do, like they do. I find. So yeah, and that comes back to confidence as well. So there's actually a really cool video in, I think it's Business Collective. It's all about conscious language. And it was in the old mentorship. I don't know if it's in the new mentorship. But if you guys haven't seen that, put that on your list as well. I think it's by Sonia Swan or something like that. Anyway, go and search for it in the group and definitely watch that, because that might change a lot for you. Okay, number 16. What is the framework of an enrollment start to finish? It really varies. There's no like hard and fast rule with this one. If you are being really intentional with that prospect and they're being very responsive, I feel like it can be a quicker process, but sometimes it takes a lot longer. Like if that prospect takes a little while to warm to you, or just not much is happening at the beginning, like it really varies. It depends what they've got going on at the time too, money wise and that sort of thing. So I would say, I was trying to kind of work it out. I would say probably mine are on average are a couple of weeks by the time I've like developed that relationship, reached out to them to add them to Botanica Tribe for some reason. Maybe we've sparked up a convo. Maybe I've seen something in their Instagram and I'm like, I think you'd love this, or whatever it might be. But I'd say it's usually a couple of weeks, sometimes the whole month, because then by the time we get to the end of the month, I incentivize them, and not always, but sometimes that's what ticks them over. Yeah, and again, I just said, I just made a note. If you've incentivized them and yet still nothing is happening, move on, and start with a new prospect. So keep adding to that list. And then I think just the last question was enrolling tips. So my big ones are confidence, conscious language, massive, having that prospect list and working on it every single day. I mean, if you miss a day here and there, no big deal, but be very intentional with that. I do it every night before I go to bed. I just sit there and I go through every Instagram account, reply to their stories, whatever it might be. You can do it in stages during the day too, if it takes up too much time for you. Dangle donuts, don't be too wordy. If someone has asked you a question, don't overload them with like 3 Instagram messages. Just keep it simple and say, address it really shortly and just say, there's heaps of great info in my Natural Living Facebook group. I think you'd love it. Let me add you to that right now and tag you in that. I think, whatever. But just keep it really short. So we call it dangling donuts. Again, there's a great post on that in Business Collective. And talk to the person like they are what you were before you started. Do you know what I mean? Like, keep it basic. Don't overwhelm them. You've got to remember that they don't know like all this stuff. They just want to know the basic ways that they're going to be able to use their oils. So yeah, talk to them like it was you before you started, and just keep focusing on the 3 pillars. And that, if you're focusing on them all the time and combining all that other stuff, there should be no reason why you're not having conversations with prospects. But I mean, I still have heaps of people that don't sign up and that I have to move on from. And it's a little bit disheartening sometimes, because sometimes I do add them to Botanic Tribe and we get to that point and that sort of thing, and it still doesn't happen. But there's still a seed planted, and you never know. Like, I had a girl join last month who has waited like 18 months since we first spoke. So you never know. So you just have to stay consistent and be confident in what you're doing and use your oils daily, and teach that to people. So that's me. Thanks, Elise. Thanks, Jess.
Thanks so much, Naomi. I mean, I know I took like a lot from that as well. So thank you. Okay, so it's my turn next. I'm going to first start off with my top enrolling tips, and I enroll predominantly online. I have done a few in-person events, but I wouldn't say it's my strong suit. So I do enroll online, and I also do consistently enroll probably around 2 people a month. Like Naomi said, sometimes more, but 2 is about my average. And that's okay to, I think 2 is a great number to be aiming towards as well. Even 1 is great as long as you're being consistent with your enrolling. So my top enrolling tips would be being consistent. That is my number 1 thing. If anyone asks me what my top tip for anything in this business is being consistent. Showing up every single day. So I build online, so I'm showing up on my Instagram every single day, showing my face, always talking about the PSK oils, always sharing, being consistent. Not to say that you can't have a day off, honestly you can. But it's just not going weeks without, posting something or sharing something. My other thing is that I'm loving and have found really great is stories. Guys, stories has been so good for me. I am using my stories more as a platform than posting so much. So I used to post every single day. Now I've pulled it back to maybe 3 or 4 times a week, and I'm really hitting my stories hard. I'm sorry, I'm doing this. I don't know why. And yeah, really focusing on my stories and sharing my daily life, and how I use the oils throughout my day. So today, for example, I used I took people through my laundry, and I showed everyone what I did with my clothes and how I wash my clothes and what I used and DIYs that I've done and what I keep in my laundry, all that kind of stuff. People want to see what you use and what you do. Another top tip is being vulnerable. Share your story, pour your heart out. You don't have to expose everything about yourself, but really try and let them see the person side of you and the real you, because we always say people are going to buy kits, not buy kits, sorry, I was looking at Alice's dog. People are going to buy you before they buy the kit. They want to be your friend. They want to talk to you, and they want to hang out with you basically. And then you develop this relationship over oils as well. And creating quality content for your social medias, or for your in-person events, you know, making sure that your ideas are fresh and new, and like, of course you can reuse things and like take inspiration from other people, but making sure that like it's not the same old thing, you know, every single day you're talking about you're putting lemon in your water. Like, I mean, yeah, you can, but like, you know, people are going to get sick of hearing about that. And so maybe move on to like another sort of thing that you do in the mornings. And dangling donuts. I love that post. It's in Business Collective. Naomi touched on it as well. It's amazing. And like, it's great in not coming on too strong. So I know that you can get so excited and want to like just, you know, throw all the information at people and be like, isn't it amazing? You know, like sign up. But you need to like just step by step, little baby conversations with people here and there over the course of like a month or two. And yeah, just like dangle those donuts. It's supposed to be real life, it's supposed to be the real version of you, not a fake version of you. So they're my top tips. Okay, so the first question that I have is, once you have someone to reach out to, what's the next step without overloading? And like I was just saying before, dangling donuts. So you want to build a connection with that person. I try and connect with them over something non-oily. So I would, if they have a dog, like I have a dog, I would, you know, say I loved it, or ask them what breed their dog is, and or like, I don't know, whatever, something like that, and just build that connection with them slowly. And then, you know, you'll start, that conversation will start flowing a little bit more, and then you're able to introduce oils into the conversation, and you'll know when the time is right. Like, there is a time, and if you feel that pull to like strike up that conversation, share the oils like you would recommend your favorite, I don't know, gym. Like share it like you would like a product that you're not trying to sell. And that comes into not being salesy as well. And so making sure you're just sharing your oils naturally. So building a connection, find their need and their why, and why are they interested in oils? Why would they want oils? So if they've got kids, and their kid's not sleeping, great thing would be to like suggest lavender for sleep, or say like my son, you know, he has a hard time settling before sleep. I love just popping a little bit of lavender on his big toe. Simple as that. So finding out why that they might want to like start with oils, and really like getting them with their why, with their need, because that's where it's going to hook them in, and then the other like low tox stuff will come back later. So tagging them in Botanica Tribe in like the business, in like the posts that they are interested in. Don't tag them in how to make a perfume. Don't tag them in how to like, you know, all that stuff. Just tag them in the stuff that you think is relevant. And I usually do 2 to 3 posts max. Otherwise, like Naomi said, they will become overwhelmed and overloaded. And also remember, when you're talking to people, make sure that the conversations always aren't oily. So don't go in every single day and talk oils with them, because like that's not building a connection and a real connection with them. You want to still talk to them on that personal level as well, and like be interested in their actual life, because doing this business, the oils can feel like our actual life, because it is our actual life, but it's not for everyone. So yeah, that's my main one. That's like that's how I would answer that question. So that's you have someone to reach out with. What's the next step without overloading? Just taking it casual, pretty much. The next question: if people don't sign up to ER on sign up, what are the best ways to get them on eventually? And number one thing would be just maintaining that connection. Don't just write them off because, you know, they bought their kit. Making sure you are still chatting to them over like Instagram, tagging them in things in Botanica Tribe every now and then. Like, it wouldn't be daily, it wouldn't like, might not even be weekly, but every like month or so, you know, tagging them in something that they think would be interesting. Another thing is product education. So educating them on products. So if they're a part of, I know for members of my team, you guys, the Living Well group is transitioning to be like a members only group. So there we're going to be sharing a lot of like cool, like fun hacks and DIYs, and there's going to be giveaways. So like and there's like also going to be a little bit of like product education as well. So making sure that they are in like those kinds of groups. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Did you guys lose me?
No, you're still there, Elise. We've got 10 minutes to go.
Okay, well, all right. I'm going to hustle.
We can see you.
Okay, good. Sorry. So connecting them to a community is really good for, you know, getting people on ER, like making sure they're still in that community and just keeping the relationship, and maybe even sending them a little package of something, you know, the Thieves household cleaner or something like that. And you'll just be able to tell when the time's right to maybe incentivize them to jump on ER. And the last question that I had was, how do you keep your enrollments more stable and frequent? So like I said before, being consistent, but also I like to think of it, and it's been described in like other videos and stuff, but as like a funnel. So you're always having people entering your funnel and coming down your funnel. So the beginning bit is where you might drop them in, like from like a school friend, you know, that asked you about like, you know, essential oils. You might drop them in there, but you also have someone like midway down who you're chatting to consistently on social media. And then you'll have the people at the bottom who are like circling, just about to buy their kit. So always making sure that you always have people entering that funnel and coming out the other end, to make sure you have like that steady stream and like that consistency. Like Naomi said, moving on from people who aren't ready, it's a trap. Don't wait for them, just move on. Be constantly having connections and engaging with new people all the time. So just because you might have enrolled 2 people this month, you're like, yes, I've done, woohoo, like I've got those 2 people. No, keep talking to people, because the 90-day rule is a thing. There's a video in the strategy, what is it? I think it's in Strategy 1000. I think it's in there, but it's about the 90-day rule and what the work that you put in now is going to reap. You're going to reap it in 90 days. So making sure you're constantly like pouring in as you're reaping it back, and being a product of the product is like the main thing to keep your enrollments stable and frequent. Just making sure you're always sharing the oils, using the oils, loving the oils, and people will just be drawn to you. So that's me. Jess, I think you're up next.
I think it's me.
Alice, sorry, of course. Alice.
Yeah. I'm going to do this really quick. I'm going to skip my top enrolling ideas. If anyone wants to know them, mine were going to be in-person ones. I'm an in-person enroller. So if you think you're that sort of person, you can just reach out to me personally, because I'm just going to get through these questions so Jess can talk as well. So my first one was, how do I get my people across the line? I feel I have a lot of interest but can't get them over. So the way I do it is I break down the kit. So people would go, $259, that's way too expensive. You go, well, it's not really, because think of the value of frankincense. Think of the value of copahiba on their own. Like, we know that frankincense in the 15 ml bottle is about $100. The 5 ml one, I think, is around $60. When you say it like that, you say you get 11 oils. They're $23 each, and you're getting a diffuser for free. So when I break it down like this, people go, oh, that's actually really good value. So once you start talking about the value of the kit, and it's that they're getting 11 oils for the price of maybe 2, 3, 4 oils, and they're getting that diffuser for free, they're like, wow, this is incredible. I also then obviously go how I use them and how they can incorporate these into their lives. Sorry, Will's like staring. And the other thing I think is the most important is you need to own who you are and work with your strengths. So I own that I am an in-person enroller, and I work with that. I will always have, or I'll always be trying to host an in-person event every single month and giving people the opportunity to come. And if they can't come to that one, they've always got the option to come to the next one. The easiest and most successful way to pitch ER. I always pitch ER and make sure people, make sure people get on Essential Rewards first, because you need to let them know that if they jump on Essential Rewards, automatically they're getting themselves 10 points. So we know that in the first 3 months, they get 10% back of their order. So we know that Prim Starter Kit is 100 PV. They're going to get 10 points back. When they place another order, they can pretty much get an oil-free already. So we need to tell them that. We know people love free stuff. I love free stuff. I'm sure everyone else loves free stuff. And if you tell them, a couple more orders and you'll be getting free oils. So that's why I'm always like, even if you think you're not going to be doing it, sign up on Essential Rewards and just see how you go. And obviously now with the new way it works, you have to place your order, your next month's order. So always give them ideas. Always give them ideas on what they can put in. So we're going to talk about, Thieves Household Cleaner. They're always going to want or need Thieves Household Cleaner. Everyone needs that. So make sure that you talk about that and what they can bring in to their homes and take out of their everyday shopping in the supermarket. Because, hey, Essential Rewards, it's rocking up on your door. If this is saving mums, people time shopping down that aisle, that's aisle. One, obviously talk about the freebies, talk about the points, because and always suggest we would recommend and what they can start taking chemicals out of their home. Jess, I'm going to turn over to you.
Is everyone okay if we send through a new link? Because I'm going to need more than 3 minutes. I'm a rambler. I've got lots of notes here for everyone, and I've got about 4 questions to get through. So is everyone okay if we just shoot through a new link? Yeah? All right. I'll see you all soon.
Okay, I'm going to close this one down, and I've just sent everyone the new link. So if everyone just wants to jump on, I will see you there.